Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Emily Winslow and I love to teach others how to paint with watercolor and help you find joy in painting. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to paint a super simple tiered cake with watercolor. And this is great for one, if you just want to hang up a painting of a cake. I love paintings with cakes. But two, if you want to know how to paint your own birthday card for others, that is such a great option because birthday cards can be expensive, so why not make your own? So I hope that after today's video, you walk away with a beautiful painting of a cake. Let's go ahead and grab our paintbrushes and get started. So let's quickly go over what materials we're going to be using in today's painting. I have my Strathmore paper, that's my favorite brand, and then I have my Winsor & Newton watercolor kit, and you can find these all in the link in my description on my Amazon storefront. And then for today, I'm going to use 3 brushes. I don't know if I'll use them all, but I have a size 12, a size 6, and a very tiny brush. It's a size 1. And of course, we've got our water and a pencil. So let's go ahead and just start off with the sketch of the cake before we do our painting. So I want this to be a 2-layer cake. So I am just going to roughly start sketching where our plate is going to be. And when we're sketching, we want to make sure that this looks a little bit 3D. So I'm just making a little semicircle, and this is the bottom of the plate. So then not too far above it, we're going to have the bottom of the lower tier cake, just maybe a 1/2 inch above that. And then the top of the bottom cake will go about here. And then finally the top of the cake will go right about here. So I just wanted to sketch out evenly where those parts are. That way I know that it's evenly placed on the paper. We want it to look like it's in the middle and not too far up or down. So now I'm gonna do the, I don't know what this is called, like the stem of the plate. And I wanted it to be a little more creative. I saw a picture of this really pretty cake stand, and it kind of had like this cool design. So I'm just doing a few like ovals and circles here. And then finally, we're just going to do our semicircle again for the bottom of the stand. And feel free to pause at the end of my sketch if you need to finish sketching it out before we start painting. You can go at your own pace here. And your sketch does not need to be perfect. We're just loosely putting, where we're going to be painting, because watercolor is just one of those mediums that you need to plan out a little bit more. So I'm just going to widen this area a little bit. And then for the cake, I'm just going to widen it a little bit and then make our lines go down here. Again, making sure that it's evenly placed and in the middle of the paper. And then for the top tier, I'm making it just a little less wide. So maybe about the same height though, just less wide. And again, we want it to be 3D-ish, so I'm making it look as if we see the top of the cake a little bit. So there's a little bit of an oval here at the top on both cakes. And the last thing I kind of want to do in our sketch one, I want to make it look like it's like a layered cake with frosting in the middle. So I'm just going to add 2 more lines in each cake, just like that. So the middle part is frosting. And you can do whatever kind of cake you want. If you want it to be covered in icing, you don't have to do this part. I just love the look of the middle part of the icing. I don't know. It makes it look so yummy. And if you are doing this for a birthday card, you can leave a little more space at the top. If you wanted to write happy birthday, I think I'm gonna write on the back of this watercolor, and I'm gonna give it to my husband because it's his 30th birthday coming up, so this is gonna be his birthday card. Okay, so for the very last thing for the sketch, I want to add a little bit of decorative stuff around it. Now you can add candles if you'd like, or you can add some florals, and I think I'm gonna do the florals, so just like maybe some flowers here at the top. I follow a lot of like bakers on Instagram, and I love seeing decorated cakes. So I'm just kind of gonna do some florals around the top, maybe the bottom here. I want to evenly distribute the flowers and make it look balanced, not necessarily symmetrical. I actually want it to look not symmetrical. So I am just putting flowers here at the top and kind of around the side, and then maybe here at the bottom. Florals just add a little pop of color, especially when the cake is going to be a lot of the same color. We want to add some of that variation in here. So I think I'm ready to go ahead and get started painting. You can pause the video if you need to sketch more, but let's go ahead and grab our paintbrushes. So I'm going to start with my larger paintbrush here, and let's mix up a color for the cake. So we're going to start with like the actual cake itself and not the frosting. So I'm just doing like a really light tan color, adding a little bit of yellow in here, a little bit of brown and white. And once we've got a color we like, we can go ahead and just start adding that on the cake. And I'm adding this on the layer part, avoiding the frosting that I marked out, and also avoiding the flowers. Now I'm going to add a little bit of darker, maybe yellow and orange in here, just for the outskirts of this. Now we want to make sure we are putting this darker color on while our paint is wet. That way it blends in really nicely here. And we're just tapping that in really lightly. And this is gonna make me want to bake a cake. Let me know what your favorite kind of cake is. I love funfetti cake. Funfetti cake with vanilla ice cream. I don't know, it reminds me of childhood. I always had that for my birthday. So good. But I've just discovered making icing is so easy. So I'm never buying store-bought icing again. All you need is milk, powdered sugar, a little bit of butter if you want to make it like a buttercream frosting, and some vanilla. And there you go. So easy. Now we're going to do the same thing to the top of the cake here. Just adding in that cake coloring while avoiding the flowers. So we're going to take our darker color once again, just like a brownish orange, and I'm just going to tap that in right around the edge. Now I haven't decided what color I want to make the frosting. I'm thinking like a light pink would be really pretty, or like a lavender purple. I think I'm gonna go with the pink, but like I said, you can go with whatever color you want. This is your own cake. So now that we have, we might revisit the cake once it dries a little bit to add a little bit more shadowing. Now let's visit the cake stand. So I'm going to do, let's go a little bit bolder here, because this is a birthday. So I'm gonna do like a cool, like maybe teal color. Let's go ahead and just add that in for the cake stand here. Just swiping that in, avoiding those flowers. And we want to follow the ovals that we drew out here. It's okay if you go out of your line a little bit. Just don't have to be perfect. And then let's go ahead and add that in. I love this color. I think it really makes that springy, summery feel. And that's where we are right now. It's March here, and it's starting to get warmer. So I am looking forward to all the spring things. Okay, now I'm gonna take my thinner brush here, and I'm just gonna mix up like a darker version of this teal color to add some depth here. So I wanna take a little bit of brown. I'm running out of black in my palette, so I need to add that. But you can take it like a dark blue, that works too. I'm going to take this darker color and just add that in the bottoms here. Helps to just add this to like one side or the bottom of where you want the shadows to be. And then I'm going to add it like around the circles we've got here. We want to leave the middle with a bit of a highlight. I'm just adding it to one side. And I think I want to add a little bit more of a highlight, so I'm just going to take a wet brush and no color on it. I'm just going to swipe a little bit away here just to take away some of the paint. You can do that with watercolor if you need to swipe away paint. Okay, so now for the frosting, I changed my mind. I want the painting to be balanced out in colors. So I think I'm just gonna do like a white frosting, maybe a tad bit of like purple in there, just to make it off-white. So I'm just gonna mix up a really light color here. And we're gonna start going in for the frosting and just staying around the edge. I want to kind of leave the middle part that's dark white. So I'm just kind of loosely putting my brush over the paper, not covering the entire area, just more so the top and the bottom of our frosting. And let's go ahead and get a little bit more of a deeper purple. So I'm having pink and blue in here. Don't want it to be too much, so I'm going to just mix up this purple here and dot that in a little bit more around the edges. Add some shadows. You have to let me know what your favorite memory as a kid was with your birthday. My mom always planned like scavenger hunts for my friends and I, and those are my favorite memories as a kid. So I will have to do that when I have kids. Okay, this is a little embarrassing to admit, but during Easter, I make my husband do an egg hunt for me. I am almost a 30-year-old woman, but when I have kids, I can have an excuse to do that. I just love holidays. Okay, so before we tackle the flowers, I'm just gonna take a darker brown color to kind of go around our cake a little bit. So I'm mixing up a brown. So just grab like a darker toned brown here, and we're just gonna kind of go around the bottom. Just add in that extra layering of shadows. So I'm going around the sides too, trying to avoid the flowers, and I kind of forgot where I sketched out some of them, so might need to just kind of go over it a little bit once I am drawing those flowers out. Just want to go around like the tops of the cake, the bottoms. Okay, so now let's tackle our flowers here. So I think I want to do like a nice light pink, maybe a combination of like light pink and yellow. So I'm just grabbing my red and mixing up a light pink with my white. And let's go ahead and start adding that into our flowers here. Just tapping that in lightly. If I could pick another side business to create, I'd be a baker. I love baking. Not sure I'm the best at it, which is why I did not make a business out of it, but something I love to do. I wish I had more time to make like homemade cakes though, because it's so good. So much better than the box, but a lot more work. So just go ahead and add those flowers wherever you'd like on your cake. And then we're gonna go in with some yellow to kind of add some additional flowers, but let me just take a little bit more of like a darker red. So I'm gonna mix up brown and red, and we're gonna put that inside of the flower to give it a little bit more shadowing. So these were meant to be flowers, but they're kind of looking a little bit like almost as if this is a strawberry shortcake, but I'm not mad about that. So it can be whatever you want. These are strawberries to you, that's fine. Sometimes that happens with paintings. It's like I tried to paint something and then it ended up kind of looking like something else, and that's okay. Now I'm gonna mix up a yellow, and I want it to be a brighter yellow. I don't want it to match the color of the cake, so I'm just taking a brighter yellow here, and we're gonna add that into our flowers. And I want these to be smaller, so I'm just kind of making more of a dotted motion here and placing those kind of sporadically around the other flowers that we have. I think that looks so pretty. I'm really excited about this cake, and I think it'll make a really cute birthday card. So I hope this video is helping you make a beautiful card as well, because I think homemade cards are just so much more special than a store-bought one. So I think that whoever you give the card to will just be so appreciative of it. Also, you can just hang this up in your kitchen. I think food paintings just make the cutest decor. So maybe I won't write anything on the front. That way I can write something on the back, but then it can double as decor. How cute is that? Okay, so now we're gonna just go in and add some greenery. So I'm just taking a little green, and I like muted green, so I just want to mix it in a little bit with the yellow I've got on here. Make it like a nice warm green. And I'm just gonna put that in around our flowers. Should have left a little bit more white space, but that's okay. I'm just adding that where I want to around our flowers. And we're gonna take our teeny tiny brush at the very end to add in those finer details, like around the smaller flowers. I wanna do stems. So I'm just going to do what I can with this brush, and then we'll switch to the other one. Now I want to add maybe a darker green, so I'm just taking my green again, maybe a little bit of black here, and then we're just going to add that in here in the middle around our flower. Let's go ahead and take our teeny tiny brush, and I just want to get that darker green color again, and we're just going to make our stems for these little tiny yellow flowers. I just made a little upward movements with my brush. It just helps to have a really tiny brush here, so I'd recommend getting either a size 1 or 0. And I think I just want to add a few more just little leaves around here. I'm just doing a little dotted motion. I think that little tiny stems just really give the painting some elegance. So now I just want to add a tiny bit more definition to my flowers. So I'm just taking a dark red color by mixing brown, black, and that red. And I'm just going to define my flowers a little bit more by adding this color in around our flowers. So maybe defining some petals a little bit more. And what I like to do sometimes is kind of like go around the flower a little bit and make kind of like an outline of a petal. That makes sense. Like go outside the borders of where I already painted. I think it just adds some more interest to the painting. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of going around the borders of my flowers. And then of course I got some paint on my paper. So if you mess up and get paint around, you just dot it with some water and then mark it away with some paper towel. There you go. Same thing here. All done. So the very last thing is I want to add a bit more detail as well to our cake stand. So I'm taking just a dark blue color and I'm going to go around the edges of our cake stand, and I'm keeping it to one side here. And I want to put it at the bottom of each of the plates. And I just want to blend it in a little bit more. I'm just taking my wet brush and placing that around the circle here. And our cake painting is all done. I love how it turned out so much, and I hope you love yours too. If you made it to this far in the video, I hope you have your very own painting of a tiered cake. And I hope that it either makes someone very happy for their birthday or it makes you happy to be framed in your own home. I'd love to see your work, so feel free to find me on social media at Emily Winslow Art, and you can send me photos of your paintings through there. And if there's anything else you want to learn how to paint, let me know in the comments below and I'd be happy to make a tutorial on it. And as always, I'd love if you like this video and subscribe to my channel. And until we paint again next time.